banks and banks of humming machinery. I've never seen so many knobs. Here, try that button over there. No. Check that button over there.
What's on the bench today? It's a Fisher-Price tape recorder. Welcome to Widgets and Cogs. Today, I've got right here a 1981 Fisher-Price tape recorder. This is not the exact model I had, but I did have one just like this as a kid. This is the very first thing that I had ever taken apart to see how it worked. So I thought I would show you all this tape deck. Let's open it up, have a look inside, see what makes it tick. I have already opened this up and replaced the belt in it some time ago, but hey, you know, we can still open it up and look inside, see what makes it tick, and play around with it a little bit and talk about it. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the dramatic reenactment. Alright, let's get this guy apart. Shall we? We shall. Look at me taking screws out. There's so many videos on YouTube of how to unscrew things, which inevitably turn into how to screw things up. Welcome to YouTube. Learn how to use a screwdriver. Learn how not to film things. By the way, these are massive screws. Alright, one more screw, and get to see the inside. The big reveal. Whoop. And the tape door, or the battery door. Ta-da! There it is. See if I can get this piece out. I like these little buttons. See that? It's really kind of a cool design. If I can get this out. There we go. They're just kind of like levered in here. Nice thick plastic. This whole thing is just so beefy. It's like, this is bomb proof. Seriously, if you look on like eBay, there's so many of these for sale because they're, I would say they're basically impossible to kill. Such a simple mechanism. Really heavy duty plastic. I mean, they really put some engineering into this and made it bomb proof pretty much. Anyhow, because I've already done the belt, you know, I mean, it's not that hard to put in. I think this is something I took apart back when I had one. Like, oh, that's how it works. And I took the belt off and I played with the belt, and I think I tried putting a rubber band in. Experimented quite a bit. If I can just get this on and on, and then back around here. Good job, Sam. Put a twist in it. Well, maybe it'll make it cooler. Got a little twist. Anyhow, it seemed like it would be a pretty boring video just to show the inside of it, and that's about it. So I was looking, and I realized that this circuit board still has its original capacitors in it. And they are getting a bit old. So I thought I would go ahead and recap this thing to see if, you know, just make sure it keeps going for a good long time. We'll go ahead and figure out how to get this out. Something's holding it up. Well, we got wires here. I think that was like melted into place at one point. I think these wires are holding it up. Might be, oh, these are going to the, it's going to the microphone and the tape head. So I'll probably have to Oh, they are actually, that's crazy. So the microphone and tape head wiring, it looks like, I don't see it running underneath. It looks like it runs all the way around the handle. So to get this piece out as well. Let me grab a screwdriver for that. I hope my microphone keeps working at this point. I'm experimenting with a lav mic. It seems to work better. Quality's a little bit better, but it runs on a little CR44 battery, so it has no indication of whether it's on or not, or the battery's even working. Dirty screwdriver. I just don't want to break this. Let's get that base out. All right. Let's see about getting this part. Now, the mechanism obviously isn't going to come with it, maybe. What are we hanging up on now? Oh, we're hanging up on one of the capacitors. Lovely. Gonna have to remember that this capacitor in here has got to be a little bit. Can't have it. Well, if it's a smaller one, I can have it tight up in there, but I think this ground wire needs to come off as well. Hopefully, you can see what I'm doing here. Really do have to figure out how best to do my little camera angles. Uh-oh. Heard something go clunk. Ooh. Oh, it's just the rubber it's stuck to. Alright, let's see. Will this let me get it out? There we go. Yep, indeed, the wires are running right up along there. And then there's another wire here. Oh, that has some slack. So what is holding up? There we go. Wowie. Wowie zowie. So probably going to be chip away at some of this melted plastic. At least it's not particularly the strongest melted plastic. I can get it with my fingernails. Probably going to have to... Oh, maybe it just slides... Maybe slide down to get it out of here. Urgh. So I don't feel like unsoldering the whole unit to do this. I'm just gonna have to leave those off to the side a little bit. But let's have a look-see. The volume knob off. There's a little potentiometer. Oh, look at that. That's cute. Let me see if I can get in on that. Fisher Price right down in here. It's their own little circuit board. And this chip is an LM389N. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. See all that in there? Alright. I'll come right back. I'm just going to see what I've got as far as parts go. Or was I? We're going to put in new capacitors. Just for fun, I checked. I've got pretty much everything. The only thing I don't have is the 0.47 as an electrolytic, but I do have them as a film capacitor, so I'm just going to go ahead and use those. Some little things that, you know, I've learned over the time. Before you start doing any of this, make sure you check your silk screening on the board, if there is any, and make sure your capacitors, the markings right here, where it says there's a plus. So these are marked positive, and then check and make sure the actual orientation of the capacitor. You can see there's the negative stripe right here for this capacitor. So make sure the positive side is actually marked to the positive, because sometimes they mess up these silk screens. So you want to make sure that, you know, every single one is where it's supposed to be. Positive marks. Some of them mark negative. So either way, make sure they're all orientated exactly the way they are in the silk screening, and if they're not, make a note of it. Second thing I do is if these are marked like C14, C5, C2, I go ahead and I write down, you can see my little sticky note, I will write down the values of each one. just to be sure. And then I can depopulate the entire board, so I can spend all of my time just getting all the stuff out, cleaning up the holes, and get all of the solder away from the area so it's ready to repopulate. That way I have a list and I can just get everything out and then put everything new in without having to do one at a time sort of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark all these down, and when I come back I start taking all of this stuff out. There you go. Got my list ready to go. Turn my soldering iron on and we'll start depopulating this board. I guess we can start on the reassembly process. The volume knob. Almost forgot the volume knob. I think I'll do. I think I am going to get, once we've tested this, I'm going to get the hot glue gun out. I'm going to hit these points where the wires were held. Because why not? Make it better with glue. And there it is. Let's get those batteries back in. Remember to put them right way around. Here, I'll do this so you can read. So everyone can read. This one was actually made 5th of July, 1984. Probably pretty close to the end of the production run for these, because I believe in 86, 87 they went to a more colorful version. But mine I had in 1981, and that's when these came out. See, I removed the foam from this and haven't really put anything back, but it holds the batteries well enough. And there you go. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. Honestly, I think it might sound just a smidge better. Maybe that's just psychosomatic. But there you go. One recapped little Fisher-Price tape recorder, ready to work for another 40 years. Hope you enjoyed this and learned something, and maybe a little nostalgia, but there you have it. See you in the next one.